we could be embarking on a new era. You know, if you think back, you go back in time.
Okay.
Yes, there have been good quarterbacks in the Big Ten Conference. But
name all of them.
Art Schlichter.
Nice.
Kerry Collins.
Jim Everett.
Troy Smith. Tom Brady.
Troy
Drew
Smith
Henson.
doesn't sound like a real
JJ
guy.
McCarthy.
And Banks from Iowa.
Mr. Banks?
Your dog?
Brad Banks.
No. But usually it's kind of spread out. Now, granted, this conference has gotten a lot bigger. They've brought in big brands, but they've also brought in highly sought after quarterbacks.
Like from the portal?
Well, just portal recruiting. Do you know that the Big Ten this year will start 6 former 5-star quarterbacks?
I did because I saw the article. But I would not have guessed that.
I would not have guessed that.
I didn't know, John. I didn't see the article.
Obviously, Dylan's a 5-star.
I'm not a football pervert.
Name the other teams, Nick, that you think have a 5-star quarterback in the Big Ten. Nebraska is one of them. There's 5 others. Just name schools.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
There's 2.
Oregon.
There's 3.
Yep. Julian Sain and Dante Moore.
Michigan.
Yes.
Yes. Bryce Underwood.
Yeah. Nick, you got 2 more.
2
Wow,
more.
2 more.
2
all right.
more. One of them we talked about quite a bit a couple of months ago. He's got kind of a unique name.
Oh, UCLA.
There's 5.
Whoa. Nico Iamaleava. You
Yes.
have 1 more.
You have
Oh,
1
jeez.
more.
Nick, the pressure is on.
Who is the other Big Ten school that is starting a former 5-star quarterback?
Give you a hint. There's a team that is expected to perhaps win the national championship this year. You've named Ohio State, you've named Oregon, you named Michigan.
Doesn't actually help me, weirdly enough.
Sorry.
Oh, but the
Come on, Nick. You can do it. We believe in you.
I can see.
What color do they?
Blue.
Yes.
It's I always forget about them. That's why I have a hard time.
Is it because they're in a weird place?
Yeah, they're in a very weird place.
Where are they?
Oh,
Nick?
is it because maybe their quarterback isn't of your persuasion?
Whoa.
A lib?
Well, probably not. He's a college football player.
That's fair. I always forget about this school because Schaefer loves them, right?
Him and I have handshake memed on picking this team to win championships in the past.
Why do I always forget about this team?
John hates this team.
I hate this team.
They ruined his life in 1982.
The old coach with the big Coke bottle glasses bought off the referees.
And then they had a bad coach who went to jail.
Yes, I know
who
this.
was covered for by the coach with the Coke bottle glasses.
Why?
And he's still burning in hell today. I'm convinced of it.
Nick, it's a state that matters in presidential elections. Okay.
It's Penn State.
Penn State. Thank you.
Yeah. That's
yeah, you got 5
out of 6. Way better than
you got 5 out of 6.
I knew it was Penn State, but my brain kept like Pitt. I'm like, it's not. That doesn't make any
Pitt.
sense.
Pitt's in the ACC.
I know.
Anyway, back to the actual topic at hand.
But so you've got 6 of the 18 teams that are going to be starting a former 5-star.
That's a third.
You've got 3 more who are starting formerly 4-star quarterbacks. Damon Williams, who's the QB apparent at Washington. Aiden Childs at Michigan State. Malik Washington at Maryland.
So that's 9 out of 18.
And that's not... And then we get to the transfers. We get to the transfers.
And by the way, some of the players that you mentioned above, like Julian saying, I guess he's technically not counted as a transfer, is it? Because he never played at Alabama. But he signed with Bama, and then he left in January of 2024.
I guess I'm really talking about guys who have not played a snap.
Fair.
Fernando Mendoza, who's going to be the
heir apparent at Indiana.
The new, oh my God, I forgot his name.
Rourke.
Curtis Rourke.
Yeah.
He was a former 3,000-yard passer at Cal. So he's in the conversation. Luke Altmaier.
Yeah. He's on not the best.
He's kind of
he's on a good team.
He's on the default, second best returning quarterback because of his experience.
And because they had a good team last year. They went 10-3.
We all remember Maeva at USC.
Yeah, I think he's pretty mid.
But he's in there.
Yeah.
And of course, then there's Iowa, who for the first time, who's the last Iowa quarterback that
I got one for you.
You were
Ricky Stanzi, but Nebraska wasn't even in the Big Ten back then.
Does it go back that far?
I think so.
To an Iowa quarterback that you're like, man, we got to account for him.
I think so. Ricky Stanzi was
I'm not even
good.
saying you have to be afraid of him or it's like, oh, man, he's a bad dude.
We used to have a drop from him in this Nick in the System where he said USA #1 or something like that. Love it or leave it. Wasn't that him?
Yeah.
Love it or leave it, USA #1. Jimmy says Banks. No, Brad Banks, that's too long ago. That was 2002. I think Ricky Stanzi. My answer is Ricky Stanzi.
Stanzi was good.
Ricky
Stanzi
can't
was good.
stand you. Get it, Nick? What do you do?
Can't stand you.
What do you search? Yeah, search USA.
Can't stand you. Gosh, has it been that long?
It's gone. Yeah, I think it has been. I mean, look at the quarterback since then. It's been a lot of slop. A lot of bad players. I mean, John, their offense was like the worst in the history of college football.
A nice sausage in the mouth.
That's funny, but that's not it.
Oh, it's not that one?
You're not going
JP says.
You're not going
Nice
to count
sausage.
CJ
Sausage in the mouth.
Beathard?
That's what JP says.
Well, they did go 12-2. He threw for 2,800 yards, 17 touchdowns, 5 picks, 61%, 62% completion. Not great.
CJ Beathard.
That, you know what? I'll give.
You'll go, CJ?
But that's 10 years ago.
Okay, so yeah, see, even if, yeah.
That's 10 years ago. So as you look at it around the league, this could be a pretty good quarterback year
and
for the Big Ten Conference.
Those who don't remember, Iowa brought in a transfer quarterback out of the FCS.
Mark Gronowski.
Yeah, who's good. Who's good. He's actually good, though. Yeah. It could be quite the year for this league. A league that is usually not built off of good quarterback play.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a lot of names. I mean, that's the thing. There's a lot of names. You know these names.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we'll see. I said what I did about Maeva. Someone could say the same thing about Dylan Raiola, though, that he's mid as well. But you know these names. And certainly, I mean, you go to Nick's favorite team, Penn State, and you look at Drew Aller, and he's a good player, and he's done some good things. Bryce Underwood, Julian Saying, a couple of guys who've never played college football. I guess Saying probably had a few passes last year.
Mm-hmm.
But Bryce Underwood is not. He's going to be a true freshman, and he's going to be a starter this year. You know, I can't wait to see what it looks like.
If you want to be a Big Ten honk, this is one of your best hopes. Because for the longest time, we've talked about how there's some really good top-end coaches in the SEC. But top to bottom, at least this is what it's been, the Big Ten has had better coaching.
Yeah.
That's been the MO. That's been the way people have described it.
Yeah.
That the Big Ten is a really good coaching conference. But now you inject with quarterbacks. And when you get a good coach and a quarterback conversation or combination, this is where the Big Ten could really make some headwind beyond just, Michigan, who obviously had J.J. McCarthy, who was in his 18th year.
Yep.
He was old. He was long in the tooth.
Yep.
Ohio State, of course, just keeps throwing talent after talent after talent after talent. This has been the best. I mean, there isn't even a close second. When it comes to churning out quarterbacks for the NFL, or at least giving them opportunities to be good quarterbacks in the NFL, Ohio State's been it.
Couple of responses about the Iowa quarterbacks. Max says CJ Beathard was on an active NFL roster for like 6 or 7 years. Not too shabby either. Yeah,
I like I said, I'll give it to you.
Jesse points out
if Iowa gets a CJ Beathard like year with what they usually produce everywhere else,
yeah, that'd be concerning.
That'll be more than enough.
It'd be a playoff team.
That'll be more than enough to put Iowa in the conversation.
Jesse says Nate Stanley got drafted. He did. And like honestly, his numbers are better than I remembered. 68 touchdowns, 23 picks in his time. He did finish his career with 16 and 7 in 2019. But yeah,
it just seems like it's been so long since Iowa's had a.
I mean, 2019 is still 6 years ago now. All of a sudden,
that's true.
And I would say
gross.
that, yeah, Nick, that was really the beginning of Iowa's offense. I thought taking like a big step back.
I mean, think about it. Nebraska's had more name quarterbacks, or at least quarterbacks that people had to account for.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, the results haven't been there. But just imagine if you give Iowa just a little bit, just a little bit of competence at quarterback.
Be concerning.
It should be.
Yeah, you wouldn't like that.
Should be.
You wouldn't like that.
But the Big Ten, and remember, the guys that I mentioned, the 5 stars that I mentioned, Aller will be gone
after this
year.
But Nico has a year of eligibility.
Moore will be gone too.
No,
right?
Dante Moore is a sophomore because he played as a true freshman at UCLA, and then he redshirted last year because he didn't play very much.
Well, but if he has a really good year, he'd be draft eligible.
Sure, he would be draft
but
eligible.
But the possibility exists that 4 of the 6.
Who are the 2 that would be gone? Aller and
Moore.
No. I mean, I was going to say there's a possibility that 5 out of the 6 are back next year.
I know, but I'm just saying, just a baseline.
For sure, four will be back.
At least 4 will be back.
Assuming they don't transfer.
Correct.
Because, Dylan Raiola, sophomore, Julian Sayin, freshman, Bryce Underwood, freshman, and Nico. I guess technically Nico could transfer too because he is also draft eligible. Or he could go to the pros. He is draft eligible now.
I don't think that's
Say transfer again?
Nick, honestly, don't put it past him.
Nope, don't put it past him.
Don't put it past him. Interesting.
The Big Ten quarterback league. It's been a long... Really, I can't remember a time where I remember the possibility existing for this many. And I know the Big Ten used to be actually 10 teams. But, I mean, think about it. Some of the great Ohio State and Michigan teams, they had capable quarterbacks, but they weren't studs. They weren't stars.
No, when Ohio State won their first championship of this century, they did it with, oh, crap, and I can't remember his name. Starts with a C, maybe?
Craig Krenzel.
Craig Krenzel. Like, dude, that's a much different iteration of Ohio State compared to what they have had lately.
Right.
Where every guy is going to the pros. Where Joe Burrow left because he wasn't going to be the starter. The best quarterback that they've had of this era barely even played there.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up, but you had Dwayne Haskins, you had CJ Stroud.
Right.
Kyle McCord was viewed as like a huge step down, and yet he was still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to Syracuse and he was really good. So it's a different era of Big Ten football. It's very much a different era of Big Ten football.
That indeed is true.